Behind me is the village of Standon in Hertfordshire. And for the past 4 months, this village has been preparing to celebrate the Queen's Jubilee. Well, it's a lovely warm June day today, if a bit breezy. But when the preparations began back in the winter, it was a lot colder. A gloomy day in February. It's freezing cold too as butcher John Ward and farmer Rex Pearman set about choosing the beast that will eventually end its days as roast ox on Jubilee Day. It's not an easy task and needs an expert's eye.
Pick one out yet, Sir Rex?
Well, there's plenty to choose from. There's a nice freeze in here.
Oh, what's that black and white one?
That black and white one, yes. Just the right size, I would think.
What do you think, John?
There's a red one.
Too big at the moment, do we?
A bit frisky. Hope they don't jump like that when you cook them.
So we can get a bit near him.
It's either that one or one of the Frisians.
There's a decent one.
This is the one here, I think.
One.
Right up in this corner.
Up in the corner, look.
Yeah, I think he knows. That'll be the right weight come June.
Come June time, he should get that back right.
Oh, Rex, John, looked all right, that
Yes.
Frisian?
Good selection.
Yeah,
I hope you eat that.
Hope so. Plenty to pick from.
Now, where's Roger? You fatten those up. They look all right, don't they?
Well, I think they're coming on quite well, yes.
Uh-huh.
Quite pleased with them.
Now, what else is he going to do for you?
Well, we wanted to supply us a tractor and trailer and drive one in the carnival for us, if you will.
That's right, yeah. Of course I will.
You've got a big entry
Right.
for the carnival, then?
I think we've got about 16 floats at the
16?
moment. Yeah,
Oh, yes, good.
yeah.
Yes,
Plus
very
all the
good.
kids in their fancy dress and everything, you know.
yes.
And,
yes.
such likes, yeah. All their bicycles.
Now, how is this all funded, this Jubilee?
Well, the celebration is going to cost between £1,200 and £1,400. And the parish council opened the fund with £200. There is a local 200 club, which we hope to get £300 out of. All the clubs in the village have been asked to make a contribution. Several have already. We are selling programmes from house to house, which will raise £200 or £300. And in that way, we hope that the ox roast will fund itself, of course, people paying. And we hope to raise enough money. And as I've explained mostly to the villages, it's an ongoing thing. And if we're in debt on the 7th of July, or June, whenever it is, they'll have to go on raising money for the rest of the year to pay for it. Because the parish council wants its money back to start with. It's a loan. And we don't want anything on rates. Paul.
And what was their attitude when you asked? What was their attitude when you asked for money?
Oh, that's all right. Everybody's being very cooperative. The Dramatic Club have given £50. The Mother and Child Club has given 20 already. The Old People's Welfare Club, the Meals on Wheels organisers have given us £11. Doesn't sound much, but if we get all that from all the footballs and the tennis and the cricket and so on, we shall have enough money.
And have you insured yourself against
Yes,
rain?
we are taking precautions to ensure. Funnily enough, and the worst thing is about the death of the Queen. I was amazed the insurance agent said that's the first thing you must do is to ensure it not taking place. And that's the first thing. I mean, we're committed to a certain expense. And he said, well, that's the first thing you must do is to insure against it being cancelled altogether. And we are insured, yes, fully covered.
Does it worry you at all, this great day?
It does. All sorts of things can go wrong, can't they? The rain, the weather's a great problem because most of the activity will be in the evening, well, most of the adult population will take part. And if it rains, well, we have no alternative. We just can't go into a building. It's either got to be on the playing field or not at all.
Over the years, Standon has changed a lot, but the old days are still remembered.
In the village itself now, we haven't got quarter of the facilities there was then, 60 years ago.
No curbs in the village street when I was young.
There was a lot of people employed at the mill, that's closed down, the flour mill, and there was a biggish builder's business, and everybody who lived in the village then was employed in the village. Now there's a lot more people live in the village, but they all go somewhere else to work. You never see a badly clothed or a badly fed kid about now, do you? I mean, when I went back to school, the poor old half-starved, ragged-ass little sods, they got nothing.
I was born in this house in Standon. On 1939, we knew the war would come, so we came down here to live. Well, since then, such a lot of changes have taken place. But still, I wouldn't like to be anywhere else. The Standon station was closed when all the other stations were closed, which is a great pity. We've been watching all the things going on Jubilee Day, and hope they'll have a nice day. Hope it'll be fine for them. And we shall go and see all what's going on and hope to enjoy that. But we're too old to join in.
What are you going to do on Jubilee Day?
Might do a bit of gardening and have a rest. And perhaps go out for a drink somewhere. If I get any friends to take me, which they do very often.
Wow, I've had invitation have a feed for the old age pension, so get a meal for once.
Poor old devil.
We're like old David Copperfield's waiter. We live on broken whittles and sleep on the coals. That's how most of us, how we are most of the time.
Now, you'd be here for King George V's Jubilee, wouldn't you?
Yes, I was, yes. I left school at December 1934 and came home to find myself elected to be a member of the committee organising the Jubilee celebrations in 1935.
Yeah.
In those days, of course, we had a squire living in the lordship, and he was the chairman of the committee. Said at the time that he could quite well fund the celebrations himself, but felt that we ought to collect 6 pennies from every person so that they would much more appreciate what was going on. And at that time, of course, there was the bun fight and oranges for children and so on, the typical thing that went on in those days.
Yes.
So much different to what people expect now.
Those pubs were open all day?
Yes, they were, as far as I can recollect, but of course, this celebration, we are going to have a bar on the playing field, again open all day, but only one. The other pubs will be open only in normal licensing hours.
Yes.
They were all approached and asked whether they would care to do it, and only one took up the offer.
Yeah.
What would have happened if we hadn't had the offer from one, goodness only knows. However, we undertook to provide beer on the playing field, and that's what we're doing.
You giving military expertise?
No, not really. I'm a bit too old for that.
Yeah. Were you in the regular army?
No, I wasn't. I was a territorial in the Hertfordshire regiment, the local regiment here. Mm-hmm. I, again, joined in about Jubilee time in 1935, in June of 35, and that was about the Jubilee time, of course.
Yes.
And served with them for a long, long time. Gave up in 1962.
The efforts for the Jubilee embrace all the village. It's still weeks before the big day as Standon's bell ringers start rehearsing.
I've been the village policeman in Standon for about 18 months now. In pretty close contact with the locals. Nice people generally in the area, who I seem to get on very well with. I've watched the village prepare for the Jubilee celebrations. A few people who work very hard. They're a pretty good bunch of people generally, and I think they'll all pull together and generally enjoy themselves on the day, and we won't have to worry too much about things going missing or pickpockets or anything of this nature. And on the day I shall be down in the village, making sure, or attempting to make sure everything runs smoothly, having a look at the locals, enjoying myself generally, and mixing it with work.
The morning starts with a special service of Thanksgiving. In a village, the church is still very much a part of life, unlike the cities where many of them are closing down. Even though most of the villagers are at church, for others there are more practical matters, the preparing of floats, often with ingenuity making up for lack of cash.
Don't laugh behind there.
Which way round?
That way, that's in.
This isn't long enough. Where's it to go?
It's got to fix onto the end there.
Well, like that. Have we got four?
Flag. Won't it go on the flag?
Have we got four?
No, two.
We'll have to get another two. No,
Well,
Belle's
they've
gone
got
home.
the Queen. Yeah, that one was a bit.
We haven't got the standing line for anything here now. Jill?
And Jonathan, want to go out with Jonathan? Up with James. I'll put the next
Morning.
day.
See, it's about 9 o'clock now.
Yes.
Big days
We're
here.
doing well.
Are you?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks very beautiful. How long has it taken to do all this?
About 2 weeks, I should think, actually putting it together.
Yeah.
Yes.
And who had the idea of the shoe?
I think I did, actually, because
Did
we
you?
are a mother and child club and we thought it was quite appropriate.
Yeah.
We could get involved quite a few children.
Now, the Mother and Child Club around here, there are hundreds of members?
No, about 45.
Each?
Yes. No. Oh, no, not children. 45 mums. I don't know how many children.
You're going to win?
Try.
We're not doing it to win. We're not doing it to win. We're doing it for fun.
I
think this one's fixing.
We do some more pegs.
Is that all right? Floor's all right? Morning. Now, whose float is this?
It's Churchfields and Vicarage Close.
Yeah.
This land used to belong to the vicarage, you see, the old vicarage. And we decided all to get together and make the float for the children. They will be wearing masks of oranges, lemons.
Yeah. Must have cost a bit then.
No, actually, we decided to do it all in newspaper and wire. All it's cost is the wire, really, and the paste for wallpaper paste.
Are they fairly new people live round here?
No, only this road.
Yeah.
The other road is, they've been here 10 years, 15 years.
Is the village taken to the newcomers?
Yeah, oh yes, they're actually very hospitable.
Are
They
they?
really are, yes. Being
Some
a
villages
Londoner-
aren't, are they?
No, being a Londoner, we were very amazed. They made us very welcome, they have, yes.
And you prefer it down here?
Oh yes, we wouldn't go back, I can assure you.
On the playing field itself, the stalls and tents will soon be in action. The biggest worry now is the weather.
Still got a fair amount of fat going on there. Nice cooking through beautifully.
Well, it was 3 months ago that butcher John Ward, the farmer Rex Pierman and myself went up a mile or so out of Standon to a farm to choose the bullock that would end up as the roast ox today. And pieces of that ox are about to be sold for 40p each. And of course, this is how the Standon people hope they'll pay for the carnival today. And what a wonderful carnival it's been. But I'm going to ask John Ward because he's been up almost 2 days looking after this ox. John? Come and have a word. It's a bit warm, isn't it?
Warm in here, I can tell you.
When were you? You've been up since when?
10 o'clock yesterday morning on this one. Yeah.
Now, did it take a lot of cooking? You were a bit worried, weren't you, 3 months ago?
Well, we were actually, because we've never done one before. But some other things have gone right for us.
and it's turning out very well, I think.
What was your biggest worry?
I think the biggest worry was the actual cooking and the length of time we had to cook it, as opposed to, you know, the getting ready and the preparing wasn't so bad, but it's the actual cooking and knowing when it's done and various features like this.
How have you kept awake for nearly 2 days?
Oh, we managed.
How have you done it?
Well, walking about the field in between times.
In the middle of the night.
Virtually.
Okay, well, now I'm going to do the ceremonial first cut of the ox for the people of Standon. They very kindly asked me to do this. So I'm going to start now.
The celebrations continued until well into the night, with Standon's Morris men setting the pace. As for all those worries of months ago, well, for Standon, everything turned out right. The weather did hold, despite a few drops of rain, and the celebration did pay for itself. The verdict from villagers and visitors alike, a day to remember.